We have our friends at New Riff standing by. But those of you that are in the area that went out and got the first, what we're doing at this section is we're actually going to be, we're going to taste the bourbon that's in your kit that you picked up. So New Riff is a wonderful local distillery that actually has a new riff or a new style of approaching the bourbon industry. So I would like to introduce our guest from New Riff, Jay Erisman. 30 years of passionate study in whiskey led Jay to co-found New Riff Distilling in Newport, Kentucky, where he serves today as Vice President of Strategic Development, head blender, distiller, and four-string truck driver. From 2001 to 2014, Jay ran the groundbreaking Fine Spirits and Education program at iconic Kentucky liquor retailer, the Party Source, working closely with Kentucky's bourbon distilleries to create new whiskeys. As a whiskey writer, Jay's work has appeared in Whiskey Advocate and Distiller, among other publications. So, Jay, you're gonna show us how to go about doing this, right? Do it the right way.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, be happy to do so. The short answer is you raise the glass to your lips and pour it in your mouth. But we're going to go over a little more than that, I think. So thank you for having us. My name's Jay, and welcome to New Riff Distilling. May I chime in on our keynote speaker and our upcoming bourbon historian, that we're keenly aware of history here at New Riff. We are, as it says on the back of the bottle, and as we say here, a new riff on an old tradition. And we are keenly aware of the new, but also the old. In fact, this building we are in is a great example of preservation and restoration. Our production plant, which is located at the very far northeast corner of Newport, right in front of the Party Source, is a blindingly beautiful, may I say so myself, modern piece of modern architecture. But this facility we're in West Newport, this is at the very southwest corner of the city of Newport, is a over 100-year-old building. Used to house a streetcar company called the Green Line, and we have restored and rescued this property. It's been warehousing our bourbon for 7 years, and today it houses a warehouse in the back. It has our bottling line, our cased goods inventory, things like that. This is a processing facility, and we've maintained the historical character of the building. So we are keenly aware and passionate about saving and repurposing the things that are out there. And this facility has to date matured very many medals that we have won in competitions around the country. So about our whiskey, to some more historical notes, this is our Riff Bottled and Bond Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, as it says here in the bottle, bottled and bond without chill filtration. Bottled and bond, by the way, is one of, when we talk about new riffs on old traditions, bottled and bond is maybe the greatest bourbon tradition of them all. It dates from 1897, when the Bottled and Act was the first product protection or product sort of delimiting legislation in America. How American of us, by the way, that the first thing we protected was not the baby food, not the aspirin, it was the whiskey. Protect the whiskey first. And since 1897, Bottled and Bond is the highest standard for quality for a brown aged spirit in the whole wide world. And so that is why everything we make at New Riff gets a Bottled and Bond designation, with the exception of our single barrel products, which are stronger than are allowed for Bottled and Bond. Belaying all that, this has a local connection as well. The prime mover for the Bottled and Bond designation, the Bottled and Bond Act of 1897, was a man named John G. Carlisle, a Covington native. He is buried here in Covington, and a local boy, if you will. He served as a Kentucky state senator and also as Secretary of the Treasury at the time when they were putting this act into legislation. And he is the one who moved it through Congress, who shepherded this act that protected and upheld Kentucky bourbon whiskey. So we think of him as really the founder of this very high quality standard that we maintain. It all came out of Northern Kentucky. So as to tasting this bourbon, I enjoy adding, by the way, a little bit of water to it. Now, you can drink it any way you want. I've been saying for 20 years, drink your whiskey any way you want, just buy it from me. That said, I like to add a little bit of water. And if we pour just a trickle of water in here like this, we'll see some beautiful oils swim around in the glass as we do that. That is smoothness. You can see these oils are part of the flavor and even the texture of bourbon. And commonly they are filtered away a little bit and attenuated. And we preserve them by being an unchill filtered bourbon. On top of that, our bourbon is, as it says on the back of the bottle, 30% rye. The mash bill is 65% corn, 30% rye, and 5% malted barley. That 30% rye, very high rye mash bill, one of the highest in the industry. And that accounts for our whiskey having a lot of flavor. This is not mild, easygoing. This is full flavored and very spicy and intense whiskey. We're going to taste in a little while how it stands up in a cocktail as well. But for now, to taste it, as they say in wine, it's showing well tonight. There's a textural component to New Riff that I really am pleased that we can bring to the whiskey. Texturally, it is broad. It spreads across your whole mouth. Part of that is down to being 100 proof because it's bottled in bond. A lot of it is down to being unchill filtered. But the genesis of that mouthfeel, that richness, actually comes from the water that we put into this whiskey. Underneath our distillery, 100 feet below the surface, there in the corner of Newport, is an aquifer. We found a native ground source, a native groundwater that provides cooling water for the distillery, and thus it provides a tremendous green energy savings for us. But it also is the water that becomes the whiskey. And that water has about 4 times the dissolved minerality that we find in the typical tap water of the region. That aquifer is fed partly by the river, but mostly by the hills that lay to the south of here. The hills that ring northern Kentucky are full of limestone, and those hills send their groundwater down into this aquifer and help become New Riff. So I'm certain that this big, rich flavor that we are renowned for begins with our not only local water source, but a primeval water source, a source right out of the ground, right under our very feet, that becomes New Riff whiskey. I hope you like it, Scott.
Now that I'm unmuted, I can tell you how much I like it. Yes, thank you very much. I know everyone's enjoying it. New Riff is also a wonderful neighbor to all of our communities, very much involved. Also makes like the best bourbon anywhere in Kentucky. So
Why, thank you.
Here's to all of you at home who have joined us. Jay, thank you for sharing this with us. Stay tuned. After we hear from Nick Laracuentes, we will be back on with the Manhattan. So thank you, Jay.
My pleasure.